Hey Gems, welcome back to my channel. So usually my vlogs are like this: calm, soothing, tranquil, goofy. A little surprise here and there, my neighbor's dog, and of course some real life. But this is happening right now in my country.
How many people SARS go kill? How many people SARS go kill? How many people SARS go kill? Hey, they go kill us, sire. Hey, they go kill us, sire. How many people SARS go kill? 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 Hey, they go kill us, sire. Hey, they go kill us, sire. How many people SARS go kill? How many people SARS go kill? How many people SARS go kill? EndSARS! Sawalu! EndSARS! What do we want? EndSARS! What do we want? EndSARS! Where lives matter! Where lives matter!
Did you watch how Abacha dissolved everything? That's what we need. We don't need any IG. We don't need anybody to ask us for any leader. We don't have any leader here. We're all one. And I feel like they're angry because we're coming out here as lazy Nigerian youths to ask to protest, because it's our right to exercise now. Why are you shooting at us? Why are you shooting at us? I mean, just started though. We just said we will still tackle Buhari. He has been a bad boy. He has been a bad boy. I was coming, I live in Okota, and I was coming here. The roads are bad. No lights. Education, zero. And we are just asking for you to stop killing us. We just want to live. I mean, you want people to... Well, obviously, we will embarrass you now. International disgrace. That's what they like. And we will embarrass you. We're here, Gidigba. You will kill us. We're here. We're here. iPhone is not a gun.
Since you've been here for a couple of hours, right?
Yeah.
Now, how has the protest been like? Has there been any clapback from the police?
They came with guns, so do I look like a criminal?
No.
I'm here to protest and they came with guns. Who do you think you are to come and you are clocking guns at us? We are just Nigerians. I mean, I'm 21 years old. You don't do that. We're here to protest. You don't do that. We've been peaceful. Then they came with guns. Soldiers came here. Why? You want to kill me?
But has anybody been hurt so far?
No, nobody has been hurt now. We did the bar. We pin. They're coming after us. They're not going after cultists. They're not going after armed robbers. They're going after hard-working youths.
60 police officers that are supposed to be protecting us, that are supposed to be serving us, and they call themselves leaders. What is that? And under Buhari's watch, and you call yourself a president?
Blocked both sides. We're gonna air. I'm here.
Of course. Why no go eat protest? No be all of us gather get in Nigeria.
Justice! Justice! Christian Amiibo! Justice! Stephen Abayayim! Justice!
Sarasoke, my children, I dare here.
Youth are tired. They're tired. They're out here protesting.
To say about this protest, about the whole thing.
So I'm really interested in intersectionality.
Period.
So I'm here for the
women,
the gays,
exactly.
Gays. So yeah,
for the sex workers.
The thing is, we bear the brunt. You get at the bottom of it, right? We bear the brunt. So you're bearing the brunt from the society. You're bearing the brunt from the police. So
exactly.
yes.
Exactly. The minorities. We are actually facing a lot. If they pick us up, they frame us for being internet fraudsters and also criminalize us.
A moment of silence for persons who have died to police brutality in Nigeria. Hey James, the past 9 days, when I say 9 days, or the past 7 days have been super crazy. Being able to find time to record this, So you've watched the intro and you know this is not a regular vlog. I'm going to be talking about my experience being an e-protester against police brutality, hashtag EndSARS, in Nigeria, also as a young queer Nigerian who's currently living in Nigeria. And I'm just going to take you through a couple of things I'm going to talk about. So I have my notes here. I'm going to be talking about what the protest is about anyway. I'm also going to talk about so far, like the progress, what has gone on and its growth. I'm going to talk about police brutality in Nigeria. I'm also going to talk about homophobic harassment of like queer protesters. I'm going to talk about cybersecurity, because one thing that has moved the protest on is this presence online. I'm going to talk about mental health care. I'm going to talk about data and donations. I'm going to talk about misogyny, safety, and also how I balance like my life. The fact that the country's, I think today is the 10th day of the EndSARS protest. So you're wondering what SARS, many people mistook this for the virus, but no, SARS means Special Anti-Robbery Squad, and it is a division, a unit of the police that's supposed to focus on armed robbers, but instead it is known nationwide for extorting, harassing, assaulting, killing, because the past few days we've unearthed a lot of things in Nigeria: extrajudicial killings, extortion of persons. So basically that is what SARS is about. Nigeria has a problem with police brutality. It has a story to tell. If you Google or you just go on Twitter or Instagram and put hashtag EndSARS, SARS, you will see different stories, regardless of your gender, your socioeconomic class, socioeconomic or political class. Everybody has experienced some form of extortion, harassment, and the protest has really unearthed the amount of like corruption, wickedness, and just pure evil. Yeah, and assault. My baby sis is here. And just pure evil that is the Nigerian Police Force. So now I currently am doing NYC. I actually had my passing out like 2 days ago to when I record this. So my service here, I did a lot of work on like prison decongestion, and it focused on, when we talk, see, everything is linked. Like my co-host of my podcast, call it something pod, Mo, said when we had our episode on like the LGBTQ experience during this SARS protest, she said everything is interconnected, and Mo is so right, because people talk about how the justice system is just so poor in the country, but everything feeds into each other. I think that's what I've learned this service here, because we worked on project prison decongestion here in Abia State, where I did my NYC, and I remember the Comptroller of General saying stuff about how police turning the prisons into more like a holding center, which shouldn't be so. So you have persons who have been there for like years awaiting trials. You have charges filed in courts they shouldn't be filed, so the people can't have access to judicial hearing. You know, everything is interconnected. Chicket. You have bribery and corruption. If you cannot pay the bribe, you languish like in prisons or in jails. You have assault. I mean, there's been abolished, like Nigeria is signed to treaties that prevent them from doing certain things, but see, here we are. So having said that, EndSARS, for me as a young woman who has certain like assets, more or less, I'm good looking. If I'm driving, I can get stopped by the police and they can harass me. Fine woman, you don't marry, you be wrong scared. If unfortunately I'm moving around with my laptop because I write, and they see the laptop, they can be like, you be Yahoo girl, meaning like, are you an internet fraudster? And the fact that this has gone on for so long unchecked, and the funniest thing is the way they weaponize homophobia against like the average Nigerian woman, because prostitution is still criminalized here, which is very stupid if anybody asks me. So you see them, once they just imply that, oh, you are a prostitute, it almost seems like they say it or they do it to make it okay if they assault you, if they want to take out of your money. But many young Nigerians are killed because they have tattoos, they have locks, dreadlocks, like most people call it bollocks, or they have like what's it called, iPhones. You refuse to open up your phones for an impromptu search. I don't want to get into the legality of that, which is highly questionable, by the way. Well, not under the new reform, the new law they signed, but Nigeria is ready for them. So basically, the past 9 days, Nigerians have taken to the streets across the nation to really protest it, and it has been peaceful on the part of Nigerian youth. We've crowdfunded money, over donations from both Nigerians and abroad, over 70 million naira. It has been transparent. The Feminist Coalition has been in charge of disbursement of remission and disbursement of funds. Shout out to them. And then lawyers have come together across the country to go help bail out protesters, and the government has waged a war against the youth. I mean, using hot water cannons like you saw in the intro, firing at protesters. People, up to 15 people have died. Beating up protesters. People have had to be gone to the hospitals. A popular musician, Oxlade's manager, yes, was picked up at Sierra during like the protest when the police started shooting sporadic in the air. They picked him up and they tried to frame him for murder of one of the policemen who was hit by the stray bullets of his colleague. Do you get how crazy that is? And then there's governments in this country. So having said that, I'm just gonna go to homophobic harassment. So all of us who protested online were the ones tweeting, retweeting, making sure we're EndSARS is trending every day. And then I think after a few days of the protest, 4 or 5 days, the government came and said they disbanded them, their usual disband. That is why that video in the intro, the girl was like, when we say dissolve everything, dissolve it like a bacha. Yeah. So but then if you go back, 2017 they claimed they dissolved it, 2018 they claimed they dissolved it, 2019 they claimed they dissolved it. Many Nigerians have been dying. Why? So people were like, they changed the hashtag to SARS must end, so, because there was issue of shadow ban. But I'm going to talk more about like cyber security. I'll talk on that. So it moved from that, and then pushing for this justice, and the government just being hard-headed. People just started talking about everything, questioning everything. Now people are pushing for electoral reform. People are pushing for allowances and salaries of senators and House of Reps to be cut, because statistically we're one of the poorest countries, and yet our senators and our ministers are paid higher than any other country in the world. Or so like it is insanity. So that's how like the hashtag has evolved. And then they were like, okay, they really have stopped SWAT, they've stopped SARS, they're going to have SWAT. And Nigerians are like, are you guys deaf though? We said we don't want. So are the hashtag deaf or are you dumb, like my sis said? And so like, we don't want, we said end it. They just dumb, sis, just end it. So it became hashtag EndSWAT. And the cool thing is, because we're having issues with shadow ban, and see, I'm just gonna focus on my e-protesting experience and give tips for people who want to join the e-protesting online. I'm not dragging anybody. I will try not to drag anybody. Anyway, to cut long ass story short, some days ago, Jack, who is the owner / founder of Twitter, I might be wrong, tweeted hashtags EndSARS and also the donation links, and then he got our hashtag, hashtag got his own emoji icon, and then it was removed from shadow ban, so it sparks a hashtag EndSARS, and people are just pointing out a lot of things. There was a candlelight service and a festival of lights just to mourn people who have been lost to police brutality prior to now, and you need to hear the horrific stories. It is absolutely bonkers, the amount of trauma Nigerians live with. It makes sense. So many behaviors and so many things just make so much sense now, because people just discarded their daily experience. People are like working so hard and they're not seeing the benefit of it. And one thing this week has taught me is that Nigeria used to, because things are changing, run on wickedness and the fear of wickedness. To be honest, things can actually work in this country, but the people that don't want it to work, it won't work. Which is highly unfair. So let's move on to homophobic harassment. I mentioned that earlier. My experience as an e-protester, I always, even from the beginning, I pushed for like different stories. How does this affect women? Because just because a majority of victims of SARS brutality are men doesn't mean women are not harassed. Doesn't mean queer persons are not harassed, because there's a law that illegalizes their association, and many people, just like the police has like state sanctioned. Kankara says state-sanctioned homophobic violence against persons. So each person experiences differently how
person with disability experiences and police brutality in Nigeria is also different. I saw a tweet where the guy said his brother is deaf or has a hearing disability, and the police kept slapping him. And he, like, it was like they were talking to him and he didn't respond, and they slapped him till he was making sounds, and then noticed that, oh, he was hard of hearing. So the fact that nobody, I mean, someone tweeted, nobody when they're arresting you reads your rights. I mean, and it's crazy because in law school they taught me they're supposed to read people their rights, but I mean, so basically there was a lot of homophobic harassment of like online protesters and even physical protesters by people who are like, oh, queer people are pushing an agenda. I mean, they're literally just saying end police brutality, this is my experience, hashtag queer lives matter. But some homophobic Nigerians want to fight oppression but be oppressors, and I just want to tell you, Allah will strike the ground that you walk on. Yeah, that's just it. It won't be well with you. Like, it's not even a curse, it's a fact. And I've said it, I've tweeted it repeatedly. There's a revolution going on right now in Nigeria, and the revolution is like jollof rice. It's just like human rights. It's like jollof. It's just like civil rights. It's like jollof rice. Everybody's going to get a plate. It go reach everybody. You shouldn't hoard the cola. If what I'm saying makes any sense. So I'm just going to give examples of like the kind of homophobic harassment I faced online. First of all, is people trolling you in your comment section, saying you're an abomination, or saying you deserve to die, or quoting the Bible, which is dumb as fuck, on a sexual Jewish man, and all of you should just go and hit your head against like the synagogue building or whatever. Rape threats, yeah, and which is odd because like queer persons already face homophobic harassment from the police, and that is what we're protesting against. And then physically, popular like YouTuber Amarion, popular Nigerian lesbian YouTuber Amarion, she protested at Abuja, and she was attacked. Some people she was protested were attacked. Their placards were torn. People had to form like a human shield around them. According to the video that I saw, I didn't really want to add it because I don't want like copyright issues or whatever. So things like that, and that she posted a video about it, and you can see mixed reactions, and people were like, we can't be fighting for a new Nigeria and want to keep certain people oppressed. And shout out to people who did that, and to the people who kept quiet, I saw you. Shame, big shame on all of you. And so other ways which other queer protesters have faced harassment. I know a friend who someone dropped very disgusting porn under her post where she was talking about how she felt about the homophobic harassment. That's form of harassment. For as a woman on Twitter in this time, like people just want, like, first of all, cisgendered heterosexual men who feel like this particular revolution is about them. No, it's about a country. It's about how the youth have risen up to be leaders of everybody. It's about everybody is making space for somebody else. Everybody has a right to ask for a better life. Nobody is more Nigerian than another person. And if, quite frankly, you think the value of your life is higher than another person because you have sex with the opposite sex, then Yemoja is going to flood your house and your business, and you will sink. That's just the fact. Sure, you understand? I said I'm not going to like drag people too much, but I didn't say I will not shake pay for people. Sure, you get. It's just really, really crazy. Other things is, I know another feminist who pushed for like queer inclusivity in the protest she helped like coordinate in one of the states. Her family sent her death threats, and 11 in the night I was looking for a safe house for this person. That is crazy. And we all had to crowdfund like her GoFundMe. So like these are all the little things. So for queer women who experience like homophobic harassment, especially online and even in like a physical protest, it's usually in the angle of sexual harassment, misogyny, and like homophobic like comments. So those are just the things. But here's what I say: if you're a queer ally, that's where you rise up. You're supposed to stand up. This is where you speak for them. You go into their comment section and you report such accounts. You don't just look. You can report such accounts. I mean, I had to be educating people under Amarion's comment section, like, hello, we're also Nigerian, we also face police brutality, we have to wait. Are you saying we should wait till when the whole of Nigeria is fighting police brutality? We'll not have our own fights because we have a different sexual orientation? Like, I had to ask, I was like, please block me back. Please just block me back, because are you mad? So that's that. So cybersecurity, I think this protest, because it was mostly online, being that the government not only used police to and the military to intimidate, assault, and kill peaceful protesters, it also used media houses to propagate lies. So the older generation, we had to be the ones educating them. This was going on. Imagine the Commissioner of Police of Lagos State, where his policemen had killed people consecutively in 3 days, lying that nobody had died. I had to be the one educating my mom, see the video evidence, see what's going on, and they're stunned. So traditional media is not covering the truth. For the few that are covering, they're exaggerating and covering lies. So social media and new age media, that's media like Arise TV and Hip TV that I quoted in my intro videos, all those people, the Coco Mag, Native, the Republic, Agbawo Arts, all those new platforms, but TV and print are the ones really covering what's going on, educating people, like running around where you could find like the nearest protest around you, things you should know about repealing like senators, House of Rep, signing petitions to the International Criminal Court about crimes against peaceful protesters, applying for visa ban for all these commissioner of police and the IGP and all the Inspector General Police and all those things for the to the UK and US. So like a lot of information has been going on online and has forced people to get more informed because of the Apex Bank shutting down the banks, these financial tech banks that have been helping with funding of the protests. People had to learn more about Bitcoin so they can donate. So it's been very interesting how the government's fight against the youth has just engineered them to be driven, because people are fed up, people are done, people just want to leave. I don't want to step out of my house and I'm not sure I'm going to come back. They have a Nigerian, you don't call because, oh, I miss your voice. I'm checking on my friends randomly, like, are you alive, are you good, are you safe, are you okay? Do you understand? Like, what a way to live. So moving on from that, VPN, people have had to get VPNs to max and security. There have been talks about like spyware, Wi-Fi that's not really Wi-Fi, spyware crashes your emails they send that hacks into your stuff. So people have had to be careful. People who have been on the front line, both for legal service, medical service, feeding resources, financial, members of the feminist coalition have gotten death threats. Many of them have had to leave their houses. Why? Because Nigerians are saying we're tired of being killed by people that are supposed to protect and serve us. We're tired of being raped by people that are supposed to protect and serve us. We're tired of being extorted by people that are supposed to protect and serve us. And it's so interesting because the government has all these things, resources, and they cannot find out who has been funding Boko Haram. They cannot they cannot do certain things. They claim they are trying, but they have all these means to frustrate peaceful protests. Why? Just why? It doesn't make sense. So having like gone into that, oh yeah, and Anonymous, if you're online, Anonymous, they hacked they gave the government 72 hours to fix up in support of protesters. They hacked certain government sites, took them over, and they leaked details of SARS officials. People have been creating directories online and saying this officer killed this person, did this, that. The stories are horrific, and it's just, anyway, moving on. Yeah, so in relation to cybersecurity, internet crackdown, then it talks about that. So it's just interesting to see how tech Twitter or tech people are collaborating with graphic designers, are collaborating with this person. So there are infographics going out. Okay, get your VPN, do this, get apps that help you communicate with other people, even if there's no internet. Because I mean, that happened in one other country. I've forgotten. Is it Kashi? Move on to mental health care. Nigerians currently are collectively dealing with trauma right now. There are lots of stories every day. The first few days of the protest, I didn't leave my bed. I was just remember to eat maybe once a day, and was just pressing, retweeting, reading, consuming stuff, worried about protesters who were at the hospital or are detained, blah 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 blah. Then later, after the whole homophobic harassment of queer persons, both physically and even my own experience online, where Friday the 13th, I will not forget, I was literally code switching between English, Pidgin, Yoruba, Igbo, and just like giving it to everybody. That I was giving, thank you, Washiri Jari. I was giving everybody basbos. Like, you just, how can you look at me and say you as a Nigerian you can fight oppression, but I can't fight oppression? Someone said, and I quote, like, being a queer Nigerian protesting means you're protesting against police brutality, but the Nigerian beside you wants to oppress you. Like, why? Like, why? So mental health care is so good that the Feminist Coalition have many people, not just even them, Mental Health Aware, Tears Nigeria, which cater towards LGBTQ persons, have you know, Tears has always had free therapy sessions, but it's more accessible for everybody now. People are like, get therapy, just talk about things. It's just interesting to see the country have to deal with trauma, and the fight for justice is actually going to be the best, you know, the best thing to soothe everybody. So how I've dealt with that is, you know, like I said initially, I didn't have a schedule, but later I made a schedule. So so yeah, I schedule when I go online, when I don't go online, and you know, stuff like that. And yeah. So let's go to, oh yeah, and I also say have a supportive social circle. So my circle of friends, a couple of them are protesting both physically and online in Lagos and in Abuja. So I check in on them, we just chat, we talk about stuff. To unplug, I make sure that I speak with my partner. She calls to check on me. Are you good? Are you all right? All those things matter. My parents call me. Oh, we see the work you're doing. Well done. My sister helps me out. Like, she reminds me to eat and stuff like that, and like to make important calls and not just be sucked in the like protesting and everything. So it's important to have like a supportive social circle that would like remind you during these times, like take good care of yourself. It's okay to take a break. You don't need to feel guilty. See, let Nigerians abroad, let them tweet, let them be the ones to like tweet and retweet at night. Get some rest, like take deep breaths, do yoga if your anxiety is like too much, to calm your mind. Like eat well, sleep. It's not easy because I lost appetite. I just got my appetite back like 2 days ago. So yes, let's move on to data and donation. So as I think the 13th, certain people reached out to me that they wanted to. Okay, no, I spoke with an aunt. I thought what was going on. She was like, she loves what Nigerian youths are doing. So I was like, open your purse, sis. And so she did. And so I shared funds for people who were physically protesting and airtime for, you know, my keyboard warriors. Shout out. And so people reached out to me, they wanted to donate. So and I got certain donations from the UK, from Canada. Shout out to the wonderful Gem who added passing out money for me. I love you and I appreciate you. Also my dear sis Fatima Debbie, I love you so much. She sent me money all the way from Ghana for queer protesters. And Matthew Anthony of Wasa, Matthew Blaze, popular gay activist, Timmy Wasa, she's a musician, and I created Safe House as at yesterday to provide temporary safe housing for queer protesters, because 2 nights ago the SARS that had been disbanded were raiding people's, like breaking into people's homes and kidnapping them. There's not an arrest, raids and kidnapping, like make it make sense. And so they had to go and bail people out. Like what is insane. So we had to create like safe housing, and last night we housed 3 queer persons, and that was cool. So shout out to everybody that donated. So my work kind of shifted from just regular protesting and trending hashtags to disbursements, to remittance and disbursements of funds online. And that was unique at grappling with the anxiety of like bad network, and Nigerian banks are frustrating protesters. They are flagging people's accounts and getting money from feminist coalition. Everybody is going to get it. Everybody will get, by the time we're through, everybody will be all right in this country. Everything will work fine. All of you, we see you. So a huge shout out to everybody, both the allies, both the queers, people giving out of the little they have, and to everybody who returns or offers to return money they don't end up using or they don't need, queer persons. That really touched me. I was like, wow, that's a lot of transparency and kindness, and that is so cool. That is so chill. So having said that, Feminist Coalition send funds to protesters, people organizing protests, and they've covered most things. It's just that I noticed another thing is harassment, misogyny and sexual harassment. Because I don't understand how we're fighting against police brutality and some men are groping women at protests. A friend of mine mentioned that she went with someone and her friend was groped, and I saw tweets about people, and a person had to be sharing whistles so women could whistle. And I saw a video, I watched that video like 10 times, of guys beating up a guy that groped a woman. It was so good to see. I need that energy. If we can keep that energy, we can successfully dismantle rape culture in Nigeria. I'm telling you. Yeah, having to deal with people. When I say queer people, I'm seeing cis-het men in my mentions trying to get like money from hardworking queers who specifically tell me it's not for you, but you're just trying to hide. I saw a tweet yesterday that said niggas are pretending to be gay for airtime. Like, stop it. Just please, Ozugo, please. Pico, stop it. Me, I tweeted, don't be unfortunate in my mentions, I will drag you. Don't do that. Don't do that. So misogyny and sexual harassment. So misogyny, I think I mentioned getting misogynistic like comments in my mentions is not it. And now seeing I think this gives Nigeria the perfect opportunity to completely like dismantle patriarchal oppression, because I've seen many tweets from many men going, see what women are doing, the women are at the front lines, and see how things are moving effectively, things are transparent, things are things are swift and efficient. And I'm like, yeah, that's what we've been telling you. Nigeria is ready for a feminist president, but you people don't want to listen to us. But now you guys see it firsthand. You people see what women are capable of doing. And I'm so proud of feminists frontlining this movement in different aspects. It's so brilliant. It's so dope. It's really so dope to see women rise up in different aspects and just come through for ourselves and to push for like representation is really, really awesome. So safety, well, cybersecurity and safety is kind of linked for e-protesters. Get your VPN, turn off your location. When you're making videos, if you go out to physically protest, put a timestamp, say your name, say where you are. I advise people to put their blood group, write it on your hands. I tweeted about that. Write your blood group on your hand, write the contact of someone that can be called if for legal assistance, or if God forbid you get shot or anything and you need someone to reach out to for your body, God forbid. But yes, all these things are important. Right now Nigeria is going through a revolution, and it's a very different kind, it's a very interesting kind, and you know what, we're ready. In relation to balancing life, first few days of me being an e-protester, my life was more balanced. I'm not gonna lie, my life was not balanced at all. But after the whole everything that's the whole homophobic harassment and having to drag people, I've already initially, like I said, that my own angle in relation to like the protest has focused on like women and queer persons that form part of my identity. So we were already pushing for intersectionality anyway, so yeah. But now I think I'm more relaxed because like the angle to which I'm contributing to the protest has kind of changed in relation to looking at it more from like disbursing donations from persons, being on checking on people that physically protest, that we send money to, like, are you back home safe, are you good, stuff like that. Also escape my mind right now, but yeah, I still tweet, I still retweet. I'm working on like I had the podcast episode out, I have this vlog out, yeah. And then I had to step out a couple of days for clearance and also for my passing out. So being outdoors, kind of like away from my phone to an extent, kind of helped me. I went for games after we passed out from National Youth Service Corps. So I'm no longer like a core member. So the core diaries, NYC Abia diaries are probably going to be ending with my personal vlog. Excuse me. So all of that really, yeah, I've not really balanced my life. Now I think I have a better grasp, but even still I'm still juggling a lot of things in and out of apps and stuff like that. So yeah, that's so far has been my experience as an e-protester. To every queer person out there going for physical protests, shout out to you. You're making history. To people who are also online writing stories, documenting things, tweeting, like not being silenced, like the culture of silence, this is the time to end it, and I'm really proud of everybody. And also the allies, I'm super proud of you. I can't even express how wonderful it is to have support and just see Nigerian youth being like open-minded, as like accepting, being like united, being unwavered, and just being hard as F, just going hardcore, going, this is our country, this is our future, and the revolution is now. October 2020 is going to be forever special in Nigerian history, regardless of the outcome of this protest. So thank you very much. I will advise you to go get your PVC, get ready to vote, sign all the petitions, sign all the letters, donate, retweet. Yeah, when people are making bans, homophobia is not just something casual. Check people, check them, talk to them, correct them. Everybody has the right to life, the right to live freely, fully in our society. Baby girl, after all the comments you're giving, you don't want to say bye-bye?
Bye, bitches!
She said bye.
In a good way. The bitches in a good way.
Bye, gems. Thank you for watching.
My quiet gems, I want you to remember that you are valid and you have space in this place.